Hello there, my name is Payal Naraine and welcome to this video series. यहाँ हम कवर कर रहे हैं पूनम दलाल दहिया की एंशिएंट एंड मेडिवल इंडिया की थर्ड एडिशन, जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है। इस किताब को हम थ्रूली रीड करेंगे और जहाँ ज़रूरत पड़ेगी वहाँ हम साथ ही साथ यूपीएससी एंड स्टेट सर्विसेज में आए हुए प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस भी डिस्कस करेंगे। एंड इस सीरीज़ में वीडियोस लगभग 30 to 35 मिनट्स के होंगे, बट इफेक्टिव होंगे। और हम ऑलमोस्ट 40 to 45 लेक्चर्स में ये पूरी किताब कवर करेंगे। और अगर आपने ये सीरीज़ 3 to 4 टाइम्स देख ली तो बिल्कुल ये किताब आपके दिमाग में छप जाएगी एंड ट्रस्ट मी, आपकी एक्यूरेसी भी काफ़ी इंक्रीज़ हो जाएगी। साथ ही साथ आपका रिवीजन भी काफ़ी आसान हो जाएगा। सो अगर आपको रिवीजन के साथ साथ वैल्यू एडिशन भी करना है तो ये सीरीज़ पूरी फॉलो करें। आपको बस आपके पास ये किताब रखकर मुझे सुनना है एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स मार्क करने हैं। So without any further delay, let's get started. Hello there, welcome back to the channel Ghatna Sutra. यहाँ हम कवर कर रहे हैं पूनम दलाल दहिया की एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री थर्ड एडिशन, जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है। तो हम पढ़ेंगे और साथ ही साथ में PYQs भी नोट डाउन करेंगे। So let's start with the first chapter, Prehistoric India. The English word history comes from the Greek word historia, meaning inquiry, knowledge acquired by investigation. History corresponds to the study of the past and throws light on various past events of significance which shaped and evolved human experiences. It is further divided into prehistory, protohistory, and history. Now let's talk about it. Prehistory. Events that occurred before the invention of writing are considered the domain of prehistory, which is generally represented by the three stone ages. Protohistory. Defining protohistory is rather difficult as it has different connotations. Generally, it refers to a period between prehistory and history, during which a culture or civilization had not yet developed writing but were mentioned in the written records of a contemporary literate civilization. For example, the script of Harappan civilization remains undeciphered. However, since its existence is noted in Mesopotamian writing, it is considered a part of proto-history. Similarly, the Vedic civilization from 1500 to 600 BCE had an oral literary tradition. Though they did not take to literary writing, they can thus be considered a part of proto-history as well. Archaeologists consider Neolithic and Chalcolithic culture to be a part of proto-history. History. The study of the past after invention of writing and the study of literate societies based on the written and archaeological sources constitute history. Sources of reconstructing history. Literary sources. Religious literature throwing in valuable lights on the social and economic conditions of the ancient Indian people, such as the four Vedas, mostly assigned to 1500 to 500 BCE, namely the Rig Veda, mainly consisting of prayers, and the Sama, Yajur, and Atharva, containing prayers, rituals, magic, and mythological stories. Upanishads, also referred to as Vedanta, and containing philosophical discussions on Atma and Paramatma. Sutras, such as Saurashtra Sutras, Griha Sutras, containing ritual literature on moral values, epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Buddhist religious texts written in Pali and commonly known as Tripitakas, three baskets, that is Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Jainas religious texts written in Prakrit, commonly called Angas, containing philosophical concepts of Jainas. And now we'll be talking about literary sources through secular literature. पर आप यहाँ पे ध्यान दीजिए कि जो भी लिटरेरी वर्क है और उनके जो भी ऑथर है, यू मस्ट रिमेंबर दिस बाय हार्ट एंड मार्क इट एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट. हम इन आगे वाले चैप्टर्स में भी वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दिस, राइट. और ये यूपीएससी में भी सवाल पूछा गया था, लिटरेरी वर्क एंड द ऑथर्स. सो यहाँ पे जो भी ऑथर्स है और उनका जो भी काम है, नोट इट डाउन, इट्स एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट. Secular literature as Dharma Shastra law books which prescribe the duties for different social groups such as Manusmriti. Kautilya's Arthashastra, which provides great information about the Mauryan period polity and economy. Ashtadhyayi, an important work on grammar written by Panini. Composition of Kalidasa such as Abhijanna Shakuntalam, Ritu Samhara and Meghadutam, which provides us valuable information about the social and cultural life of Guptas. Rajat Rangini, written by Kalhana, tells about the social life of 12th century Kashmir. Charitas or biographies, written by the court poet in praises of their patron rulers such as Harsha Charitra, written by Banabhatta in praise of King Harshavardhana. Sangam literature, the earliest South Indian literature produced by poets who joined together in assemblies, Sangam, provides valuable insights about the period from 300 BCE till 300 CE. This Tamil literature contains literary gems of Silpadikaram and Manimekalai, both shedding lights on the South Indian society, economy, and polity of those times. Now let's talk about non-literary sources. Inscriptions or prashishtis, writing engraved on hard surface such as stone and metal like copper, which usually record some achievements or ideas, help us in understanding different religious and administrative policies of ancient times. For instance, inscription detailing state policy issued by Ashoka and inscription recording the land grants by the Satvahana kings of the Deccan. Coins. Coins provide useful information not only on the economic history of different dynasties, but also provide input on different parameters involved such as the script, art and religion of the time, as well as the progress made in terms of metallurgy and science and technology. For instance, the earliest coins found in India were punched mark coins and contained only certain symbols and were made up of silver and copper, whereas later on the Indo-Greeks introduced gold coins and issued the coins which bore the names and images of rulers. Archaeology. On the basis of excavated remains, archaeology enables us to form an idea of the material life of an ancient people. For example, excavated sites belong to the Harappan period. Let us know about the life of the people living in that era. Similarly, in South India, the graves known as megaliths throws light on the life of the people living in the Deccan and South India before 300 BCE. Geological and biological studies. The faunal and floral sources too complements the archaeological studies in understanding the ancient way of life. For instance, through an examination of plant residues and especially through pollen analysis, inference can be drawn about the farming practices by Stone Age people. Similarly, mitochondrial DNA provides information on prehistoric migration. Account of foreign travelers. India was visited by many travelers since time immemorial. Among them, the notable ones, that is, Greek, Roman, Chinese visitors have left behind a rich account of our historical past. Some of the notables among them were Greek ambassador Megasthenes wrote Indica and provided valuable information about the Mauryan society and administration. Similarly, the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea and Ptolemy's geography, both written in Greek, provided valuable data regarding Indian port and commodities of the trade between India and Roman Empire. Buddhist travelers, Fahin, who came to India in 500 CE, have left a vivid account of the age of Guptas. Another noted Buddhist pilgrim, Hyun Sang, visited India in 700 CE and gave details of India under the reign of King Harshavardhana and glory of Nalanda University. Prehistoric India. अब आप यहाँ पे भी noted down कि who was the archaeologist. रॉबर्ट ब्रूस फूट एंड इट्स एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट. ये UPPCS की एग्ज़ाम में पूछा गया था पहले, तो नोट इट डाउन, मार्क इट इम्पॉर्टेंट एंड रिमेंबर द नेम. Prehistoric India. The history and identity of human settlement in India goes back to the prehistoric times. As discussed above, that prehistoric period is the period before the development of scripts. Therefore, our knowledge of this period is based only on the materials found in the archaeological excavations. The credit for doing an early extensive study of Indian prehistory goes to Robert Bruce Wood, who discovered what was probably the first Paleolithic tool discovered in India, the Pallavaram hand axe. Later, he discovered a large number of prehistoric sites in South India. The contribution of Sir Mortimer Wheeler is equally significant, as his efforts greatly contributed towards our knowledge of prehistoric culture of India and their sequence. This phase of human development is also referred to as Stone Age. On the basis of geological age, the type, and technology of stone tools, and subsistence base, the Indian Stone Age is classified primarily into three types: Old Stone Age, Paleolithic Age, 5 lakh to 10,000 BCE; Late Stone Age, Mesolithic Age, 10,000 to 6,000 BCE; New Stone Age, Neolithic Age, 6,000 to 1,000 BCE. Now let's start with the Paleolithic Age. Hunters and food gatherers. The Paleolithic Age is the earliest period of the Stone Age, which developed in the Pleistocene period or the Ice Age. It was spread in particularly all parts of India except the alluvial plains of Indus and Ganga, the southern Tamil Nadu and hilly areas of Western Ghats. The prehistoric man, who belonged to the species of Homo erectus, did not have a complex language, culture, and might have expressed a few sounds or words and used a sign language. Way of life and main characteristics. The Paleolithic man of India are said to have belonged to the Negroid race and lived in open air, river valley, caves, and rock shelter. They were food gatherers, people who lived on hunting, gathered wild fruits and vegetables. They had no knowledge of agriculture, house buildings, pottery, or any metal. It was only in later stage that they attained the knowledge of fire. In the Upper Paleolithic period, evidence of art appears in the form of painting. Man during this period used of unpolished, undressed rough stones, mainly hand axe cleavers, choppers, blades, burins, and scrapers. Since the stone tools were made up of hard rock called quartzite, Paleolithic man are therefore also called as quartzite man. Here you can see the Paleolithic tools. Paleolithic age is divided into three phases according to the nature of stone tools used. The use of hand axe, choppers, cleavers, mainly for chopping, digging, skinning, these tools were rough and heavy. Found in Sohan and Sohan River Valley, now in Pakistan, Kashmir, Thar Desert, Didwana, Rajasthan, Hiran Valley, Gujarat, rock shelters of Bhimbetka, MP, Balan Valley, Mirzapur, UP. And it started from 5 lakh BCE to 50,000 BCE, covers the great part of the Ice Age. Middle Paleolithic. Use of stone tools made up of flakes, mainly scrapers, borers, points, and blade-like tools. These tools became smaller and there was a decrease in the use of hand axe in relation to other tools. Found in Sohan, Narmada, and Tungabhadra River Valley, Potwar Plateau between Indus and Jhelum, Sango Cave near Peshawar, Pakistan. And the period was from 3,85,000 BCE to 40,000 BCE. Established only in 1960 by H.T. Sankalia and was named Nevasan Industry after the site of Nevasa, Maharashtra. Late or Upper Paleolithic. This period is marked by innovation in tools and technology, parallel side blades, burins, and some instances of bone tools. Found in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Central MP, Southern UP, Chota Nagpur Plateau. Bone tools found only at cave sites of Kurnool, Muchuchatla, Chintamani Gavi in Andhra Pradesh, whereas incised ostrich eggshell, shell and stone beads have been found in Andhra Pradesh and Patni in Maharashtra. And this period was from 40,000 BCE to 10,000 BCE. Homo sapiens first appeared at the end of this phase, thereby marking increase in cognitive capability of humans. This phase also coincides with the last phase of the Ice Age, when the climate became comparatively warmer and humid. So आप इस मैप पे ध्यान दीजिए पैलेलिथिक साइट की, और इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट साइट इज़ भिमबेटका. ये सवाल इज़ एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट है ना, लाइक स्टार मार्क दिस, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर कई सारे स्टेट सर्विसेज की एग्जामिनेशन में सवाल पूछे गए थे, है ना। और जो यहाँ पे मेंशन नहीं है ऊपर वाली पैराग्राफ में मेंशन कि भिम्बेटका इज सिचुएटेड इन अब्दुलगंज रायसेन एमपी, है ना। एंड आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट फर्स्ट विजिटेड डिस्कवर्ड प्री हिस्टोरिक सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ इट्स रॉक पेंटिंग. So Bhimbetka is famous for its rock painting and it was discovered by V.S. Vakankar. So remember this is extremely important. अपने बुक में भी नोट डाउन कर लीजिए, है ना, क्योंकि इसमें दोबारा सवाल आने की प्रोबेबिलिटीज हाई है. Mesolithic age, hunters and herders. The Mesolithic age represent the intermediate stage in Stone Age culture. Both Mesolithic and Neolithic culture belong to the Holocene era, which succeeded the Pleistocene era around 10,000 years ago. One of the key aspects of Mesolithic age was the reduction in the size of well-established tools. The characteristic tool of this age were microliths, miniature stone tools usually made up of cryptocrystalline silica, chalcedine or chert, both of geometrical and non-geometrical shapes. They were not used as tools in themselves but were also used to make composite tools, spearheads, arrowheads and sickles after hafting them on wooden or bone handles. The microliths enabled the Mesolithic men to hunt smaller animals and birds. Way of life and main characteristics. Mesolithic people lived in semi-permanent and temporary settlement along with occupying caves and open ground. और हाँ, UPSC मेंस में Mesolithic rock cut के ऊपर एक सवाल पूछा गया था. So make sure that you remember this. This is extremely important. Star mark this. Mesolithic age, right? And even Bhimbetka caves के ऊपर भी सवाल पूछा गया था in various other services, है ना, MP की, UP की, even in उत्तराखंड. So Bhimbetka caves के बारे में भी आप ध्यान से लिख लीजिएगा and mark it extremely important. Now let's again start with the way of life and main characteristics. They survived on hunting, fishing, food gathering, and in later stages also domesticated animals along with cultivation of plants, thus paving the way of Neolithic way of life. This culture is thus assigned to pre-agricultural times in most areas. These people used fire and perhaps roasted food too. They buried the dead and sometimes with grave goods which suggested their beliefs in life after death. They had artistic skills and the Mesolithic era initiated rock art in prehistory. In 1867, the first rock painting in India were discovered at Suhagi Ghat, Kaimur Hills, UP. Now over 150 Mesolithic rock art sites have been discovered across India, with rich concentration in central India such as Bhimbetka caves, Kharwar, Jora, and Khadodia MP, Sundargarh and Sambalpur Orissa, Ezu Goa in Kerala. Animals dominated the scene at most Mesolithic rock art sites. However, no snakes are depicted in Mesolithic paintings. Also, certain rock paintings give ideas about the development of religious practice along with reflecting the division of labors on the basis of gender. और जो साइट्स मेसोलिथिक साइट की है दोज आर एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट. इसमें काफ़ी सारे सवाल पूछे गए थे. इस पेज पे मैंने मार्क कर रखा है. आप अपनी बुक पे भी मार्क दिस एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि फिर से एग्जाम में सवाल पूछे जाने की प्रोबेबिलिटीज़ हाई है, राइट. सो विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दीज साइट्स एंड रिमेंबर द साइट्स और उनका इम्पोर्टेंस. फर्स्ट इज बोगार, राजस्थान ऑन रिवर कोथारी, one of the largest and the best documented Mesolithic sites in India. Second is Adamgarh in Madhya Pradesh, provides the earliest evidence for domestication of animals. And इस मैप पे we have mentioned a site दमदमा जो यूपी में है, और यहाँ पे एक साथ 3 ह्यूमन स्केलेटन्स एक सिंगल ग्रेव में पाए गए थे, और ये UPPCS में 2016 में पूछा गया था. सो रिमेंबर दिस साइट दमदमा इन यूपी, और आप अपनी बुक में भी लिख लीजिए. प्रोबेबिलिटीज़ हाई है कि सवाल आपसे दोबारा पूछा जाए. थर्ड इज महादा, दिस इज़ ऑल्सो एन इम्पॉर्टेंट साइट. इसके भी ऊपर पहले काफ़ी सवाल पूछे गए थे, जहाँ पे वी हैव फाउंड बोन आर्टिफैक्ट्स आर फाउंड इंक्लूडिंग arrowheads and bone ornaments. Finding of burial having a man and a woman buried together. Fourth is Lagnaj district, Mehsana in Gujarat and in Kaimur region of Mirzapur. Though pottery is absent at the most Mesolithic sites, it is present at both these sites. Fifth is Chota Nagpur region, central India, south of river Krishna, Tinveli in Tamil Nadu, Birbanpur in West Bengal, Lagnaj near Gujarat, Sarai Nahar Rai near Allahabad Pratapgarh area, prominent site in these concerned states. न्यूलिथिक एज. अब न्यूलिथिक एज के ऊपर भी एक सवाल आया था कि सबसे पहले सीरियल्स किस एज में पाए गए थे इन UPPCS 2005 में. सो मार्क दिस इम्पॉर्टेंट है ना. न्यूलिथिक एज में सबसे पहले सीरियल्स पाए गए थे. In northern India, the Neolithic age emerged around 8000 to 6000 BCE, but at some places in southern and eastern India, it was as late as 1000 BCE. Its significance in prehistory can be gauged by the fact that V. Gordon Childe termed the Neolithic phase as Neolithic Revolution, since it introduced a lot of important changes in man's socio-economic life, which consequently greatly affected the human life. Some of the innovations were beginning of agriculture and animal domestication. The use of sharp and polished Neolithic tools made it easier to cultivate the soil, and thus the Neolithic man cultivated land and grew fruits and corn like ragi and horse gram. He started domesticating cattle, sheep, goats, and as a result, there was an emergence of settled agricultural communities. Innovation in technology. Neolithic man innovated in the production of stone tools, producing implements such as polished, pegged, and ground stone tools. They depended on polished stones other than quartzite for making tools. The use of cleats was especially important for ground and polished hand axes. Invention of pottery. Neolithic era communities first made pottery by hand and then with the help of potter's wheel. Their pottery included black burnished ware, grey ware, and matte impressed ware. It can therefore be said that pottery on large scale appeared in this phase. Emergence of self-sufficient village communities. In the later phase of Neolithic era, people led a more settled life. They lived in circular and rectangular houses made of mud and reed. They also knew how to make boats and could spin cotton, wool, and weave clothes. Division of labor. Based on sex and age, as society was progressing, the need for additional labor was recognized, and thus labor was produced from other non-kin groups too. Neolithic regional culture. Neolithic culture of northwestern India. In the northwestern part of India, the Neolithic culture began at a very early date. For instance, the site of McGraw was produced evidence of early Neolithic times dating to 700,000 BCE, and this culture preceded Indus Valley civilization. Neolithic culture of Kashmir. Neolithic culture in Kashmir was contemporary to the Harappan civilization. The people lived in pit houses about 4 meters in depth and in order to escape the cold weather. Neolithic culture of Ganges Valley and central India. The Neolithic sites were characterized by cord-marked pottery. Important sites are Koldeva, Chiran, Senuar,